morning everybody, or is it afternoon? It's morning, isn't it? Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Gina. I'm going to tell you a story today. I'm just going to get straight into this. I've only been live a few times on TikTok. I've been building a following, is what most of us are doing on here as well. But I'm just going to put my makeup on this morning. But I'm going to chat to you about my life and what's been happening in the last year in my life, because let's be honest, when I tell you, you won't believe it. I could write a book. I mean, my whole life is just a drama, one big drama. But what I'm going to talk about today while I put my makeup on is a year ago yesterday. I was due to have a mammogram a year ago today. Okay, going to get straight into this. So a year ago today, I'd previously found a lump in my right breast. So we're chatting breast cancer here. So if you would like to join me, breast cancer awareness, or you've been through breast cancer yourself, do please pop on and listen to my story. My phone's pinging away now as well. So I'm going to put my makeup on while I tell you this story, so just bear with. So a year ago today, I was going for a mammogram. I was booked in for a triple assessment. I'll explain that in a minute, those who don't know what a triple assessment is. Look at that colour, exact match. So I was due to go for my mammogram because I'd found a lump in my right breast. Now, I'd found the lump quite a few months before, to be honest with you, and I should have gone straight away. And we get told this all the time, don't we? Don't put it off, go and see the doctor, go and get this lump checked out. And I just thought, oh, it's a cyst. And then it actually went down because I was taking a herbal drug. Because I'll just be right honest as well, I'd been bleeding for about 18 months as well at the time. I've got fibroids. And I believed it was all connected. So I'd put it off, and then in the January and February last year, I became really, really sick. So I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know what it was, couldn't put my finger on it. My blood pressure was really, really low. I couldn't stand up. I was out of breath. And I just felt so ill. I was tired all the time. And I'd rang the doctor in February because the blood was just gushing out of me, and this lump had come back and it felt like it was getting bigger. And then I was getting like a bit of a dragging sensation in that side. So I was like, oh, something's not right, I need to go. So I went to the doctors in the February, and they did refer me straight away to the breast cancer Clatterbridge Cancer Centre. So I was due for my mammogram a year ago today. But what happened next was, and bear with if I fill up because I'm right emotional. Yesterday, a year ago, the night before my mammogram, my husband came in after 20 years together, 16 years married, and told me he wasn't sure if he was gay or bisexual. So yeah, just absorb that for a minute. Now, not a problem if he was gay or bisexual, but I did not marry a gay or bisexual man. He'd hid it from me for years. I'm only just talking about this now because people don't know why I separated. We were having a tough time. We've gone through a lot. I've got a son with autism as well, so I'm carer for him. My son had a mental breakdown 5 years ago, and my husband had actually left me then as well. He'd left me for 3 months because he couldn't cope with what I was dealing with. I'm going to do some powder now. So he'd previously left me, and I think in my head, I'd left him 5 years ago because he left me in one of the worst times of my life. My son having a mental breakdown and having severe OCD was just one of the most horrendous things I've ever witnessed in my life. So 5 years on, he left me the night before my mammogram. So a year ago today, my husband packed his bags, he's gone, because I said, look, I'll support you. It wasn't that I wasn't happy with what he was telling me. I understood that he had needs, and he'd obviously hid this, and he needed help as well. But I was, you know, about to go for this mammogram thinking I've got this lump. I've got to put myself first as well. And I've been a carer for 32 years, bringing kids up and, you know, whatnot. Anyway, I digress. I got to my triple assessment at the Cancer Clatterbridge Centre, and obviously first thing is right, okay, what's going on? Well, I've got a lump in my right breast, so you've got to get your baps out. And the doctor's having a little feel and a little look, and he said, yeah, there is a lump there. We need to get that checked out. It's a sinister lump, is what he said to me. So I was checked over in that respect. Where am I going next with my makeup? Let's do some powder on my eyes while we're chatting. Yeah, so he's felt along and he said, right, we're going to take you for a scan. We're going to scan you, see what's going on. So double mammogram, both boobs. I mean, it's uncomfortable, isn't it? I mean, it's doable. We should all get our boobs checked every single year. Those of you that, you know, if you haven't been for a mammogram, get it sorted. Any lumps, any discharge, anything like that, go and get it checked. Don't wait. I waited, but I was still quite lucky because they caught it early. So, and it had been even earlier if I'd gone when I first found it. So, right, bear with. So yeah, I had a double mammogram, and then I had to have biopsies because they found the lump on this side. They could see it on the scan, but then they told me on this side I had a mass on this side as well. So, you know, double whammy. I'm thinking I've just gone for this little lump, and then they end up telling me that, you know, there's more there than I'd bargained for. So I was actually in the centre for a total of 4 hours, and I'd had to take my autistic son with me as well because he was off school that day. I had no carer. I've never had any carers. Always do everything myself. So God love him with autism and severe OCD. He was sat in the waiting room waiting for me. His dad's left us the night before, and I'm on my own. So he's, God knows what's going through his head. My mum might have cancer. She might die. That's, you know, from a kid's point of view, possibly what he was thinking. But then with him having autism, not being able to express how he felt as well. So anyway, I goes in for these biopsies, and let me tell you, they told me it wouldn't hurt. It's a lie. It's a lie. It does hurt. I'm sorry, I'd rather be truthful. Anybody that's going for a biopsy, just brace yourself. I mean, maybe it's not always painful, but it was for me. So I had... basically they give you an injection and numb it a bit, and then they go in right in and direct to where the lump is, and it's a bit like it must be like a pincer, or so. That's the only way I can describe it. They've gone in because they need to take a little piece of the tumour out and then send it off to wherever it's going to be tested. So they did that, but when it went like that, it was like a bang, and I went through the flipping roof. Oh my God. It was, I mean, it's only a second. It is only a second, so you'll all be fine. Anyone that's having this done, you'll be fine. Get it done, because it came back and they told me, well, I had to wait then 10 days for the results. So 10 days waiting for results is just hideous anyway. I mean, waiting for anything is hideous, isn't it? Waiting 5 minutes for a cup of tea is hideous. But 10 days for results to see, you know, what this tumour is. And all the time, I mean, I think I knew I had cancer, but you're praying that it's a mistake. You're praying that it's something else, or, you know, it's not bad, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm dealing with my husband leaving me all at the same time. The two worst things that could happen to you in your life, but all at the same time. I mean, you just couldn't make it up, could you? So I waited the 10 days, and I've blogged it just in case anybody does want to go back on my video wall. I started blogging a year ago yesterday, so I've blogged my whole journey and everything that I went through. So please do go back if you know, you're interested or you're going through this yourself, go back, because hopefully it will be helpful for you. So I'm going to put a little bit of gold on my lids now. So 10 days later, they calls me in and they says, yeah, you have a cancer. So I was prepared for that. I was prepared for it. And they said to me, it's 13 mil and it's grade 2. And he said, this is curable. You're going to be fine. It's curable. And I was like, great, what's next? Well, and I was dead sort of in my head. I was prepared for it. So I was like, right, let's get it over and done with. What do I need to do? Being very sort of in control. So they were like, right, you need an operation. You need a lumpectomy to take the lump out. So he said, we'll take the lump out. Because it's only small and you've caught it early, you only need 5 days of radiotherapy. So I'm like, so I don't need chemotherapy? He says, no, you shouldn't need chemotherapy. He said, but what we do is we send it away to somewhere in America. They send them now. They do. It's called an insentinel. I've forgotten the name of it now. An insentinel node, something like that. They had to take 2 of my lymph nodes out as well to test how far the cancer had gone. So gets that over and done with, and I'm prepared for me op. And I was really, really tired, and I just thought, let's get this over and done with so I'm not tired anymore and I can get my life back on track. So yeah, did all that, and then goes in for the op, and they were brilliant in cancer, the Clatterbridge Cancer Centre, absolutely brilliant. And when I came round, no pain whatsoever. Wrong one. No pain whatsoever. And I was like, thank God it's gone. Let's, next step, one step at a time. Right, I'm just going to put some primer on my eyelashes. So then I had to wait for the results from that. So I was prepared, like I say, and all the way through it, I was really strong, and I had my friends supporting me. It's really, really important to have your friends around you as well when you're going through this. So I goes in and I was all prepared, for them to tell me whatever. And then he said, it's good news and it's bad news. And I'm like, oh God. So he says to me, we've got it all out. We've got the lump out. It's all gone. So you're cancer free. He said, we've took your lymph nodes out. Your lymph nodes are clear. Your margins are clear. But the lump was 18 mil, not 13 mil. It was bigger than they thought. And then I'm going to fill up. It was grade 3, not grade 2. So, right, I can't cry now. I'm putting mascara on, for God's sake. So in my head, I knew straight away I was going to need more radiotherapy. Without even asking, I thought they're going to give me more radiotherapy. So, yeah, I needed 15 days, not 5. So I was gutted. And then I had to wait for the biopsy to come back from the US as well. They test it, and there's like a margin where you don't need chemotherapy. And I think it had to be under 27, something like that. It was either it had to be under 25 or 27 out of 100. So that was another wait again. And then in the meantime, like I say, I've broke up with my husband, and, we've got a mortgage and a house, and he's gone off and blah, blah, blah. So, doing this totally on my own. We've got a mortgage and a house, and he's gone off and blah, blah, blah. So, doing this totally on my own to brighten me up. Yeah, that came back, and it was 15. It was 15, so I didn't need chemotherapy. So, yeah, a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. And this is going to sound really odd, this. I mean, those who are sort of spiritually aware, if you like, or, spiritually, yeah. I kind of felt like when I got cancer, it coincided with my marriage ending, and everything that happened, it was like I was cutting the tumour out, and I was cutting the toxic stuff out of my life. And it wasn't just my husband, and I'm not saying it was all bad either. We did have some good times as well, and it's sad that it came to an end. But, you know, needs must. So let me just get a mascara. I'm going to go with this one. It was as if it was parallel. Me having cancer was parallel with everything that was happening in my personal life and my relationship. It was like, right, there's a cancer there, a toxic thing. We need to cut that out. We need to get rid of that. And then the radiotherapy was like my, as they called it, my protection, my, there's a word for it, like a guarantee that it's not going to come back. And that was me putting in for a divorce. I mean, I left it for a couple of months, you know, because I was dealing with me op and me son and everything. I wasn't ready to deal with all of that. But it was my, there's a word for it. It'll come to me. When it comes to me, I'll mention it. So, yeah, all the way along. And then I was due for, my birthday was in June. So I said, I don't want radiotherapy in June. Please let me just have my birthday and then I'll come. So my op was in April. And then I started radiotherapy in June. So they stagger it. So at least you've got the weekend off. So radiotherapy, in case people don't know what you actually go through. So you go in and you have to strip down, you know, your top half and get into a gown. And then they're all absolutely lovely again. The staff are absolutely lovely. And you go in and they target the area that needs zapping. So you just lay in the machine and they put music on and there's a screen. So it's really quite chilled actually. And I just kind of tried to doze off for a little bit. And you're in what can only be described as a big, massive sort of scanner. And it turns around and depending on your lump, I suppose, how many zaps you get of the actual radiotherapy. So 5 days, coped really well. I was driving myself there, just cracking on with it. You're only in the machine for 5 minutes and then you're done. I'm going to put another coat of that on. You can put 7 coats of this on. Let's have some highlighter while I'm chatting. So, yeah, I got to day 12 and I'd absolutely had enough. I was wiped out. What had happened was I'd have the radiotherapy in the morning and by the afternoon I was totally knackered, absolutely shattered. And it's a weird kind of sleep. It's like your whole body's really hot. And you know when you get tired eyes, you know you're tired but you've still got to crack on, like you know, like the day after a hangover. It's like a permanent hangover. And I remember when I got to day 12, and if you do follow my blog and scroll back, you'll find it where I was in bits on here. And I was like, don't want to do it anymore, can't do it. Don't know how people go through chemo or longer radiotherapy. I'd just absolutely had enough. And then I thought, right, I've only got 3 days left. Just get it over and done with. Just do it. Just get it over and done with. And that's what I did. And I got to the end and I rang the bell at the end. So that was nice. And my best friend came with me. Again, really important to have your friends around you when you're going through this. So I'm going to go with some lippy now. So yeah, I rang the bell at the end and that was July. And in the middle of all that, I actually joined Northwest Burlesque. Again, if you look at my wall, you'll see some pictures of me and my alter ego. I joined Northwest Burlesque because I thought I was going to lose my boobs. I thought I was going to have a mastectomy. But, well, I know, I won't go into detail, but I know other people that have had mastectomy and they've had to have boobs rebuilt and all stuff like that. Well, I know, I won't go into detail, but I know other people that have had mastectomy and they've had to have boobs rebuilt and all stuff like that. And I just grabbed it with 2 hands. I was like, you know, my husband's left me. I lost my chance to dance when I was younger because I was having kids when I was like 19. I was 18. I was pregnant at 18. Pregnant again at 19, 20. I had 3 kids by the time I was 22. I was getting divorced. And then all I've done for 32 years is bring up kids and just what's the word? I've sacrificed everything, which we do. All parents do. We all sacrifice to bring our kids up, and that's fine. but, you know, the last 18 years, you know, and especially the last 5 years with my son, when he had his mental breakdown and everything, I have given my all, and it's time for me to take my life back and have something for me. So that's what I've done, basically. And as I say, I'd put in for the divorce round about June because my husband never came near me, even though we're amicable and we've discussed, and my divorce actually came through a week ago yesterday, my divorce came through. And although a lot of people say to me, oh, are you celebrating? No, I'm not celebrating really, because my hopes and dreams were shattered. I'm not sad. I'm happy because what happened needed to happen. He left me with breast cancer, and he left me with an autistic son, and then actually got into a fight with my son in the April, 8 days after my surgery, and my son got hurt. So since April, he's not been here. He's not seen his son, and I have done everything. I've got through breast cancer and brought my son up on my own, and there we are. So that's the short version of my story. Let me put this lippy on now, so at least I've finished this look, because just in case you don't know, you know, that's a bit about me, but I am an Avon representative, and I come here because makeup has helped me get through. Aside from my friends and other things, makeup is my therapy. So I'm going to show it for a minute. I'll put this on, got a leg here. This is Pink Bouquet. And, you know, I did a video a year ago when I was going through this, and I referenced Elizabeth Taylor, because Elizabeth Taylor was very much, I'm going to put my makeup on and I'm going to get out there and do this and not let anything stop you and not be held back. And I have my next follow-up mammogram now on the 21st of March. So I'm praying that there's nothing there. I'm still clear. I'm on drugs called tamoxifen, which, if you've had breast cancer, you'll know. I'm on tamoxifen, which have pushed me into menopause. The joys. So the hot sweats at night are real. I was awake last night at 3:30 in the morning till 5:30. Yeah, not the most fun in the world. But I'm here to tell the tale. And there we are. I'm going to put another coat of that mascara on. But yeah, I'm just hoping and praying that it is still clear. I've still got here where my lymph nodes were taken out. It's kind of stiff down here, and I've got symptoms from radiotherapy where I've got really, really tender ribs. So when I touch my ribs, I can feel that they're not painful, but they're really tender to touch. So that's obviously symptoms which I'm still getting, 9 months later. So that is obviously normal. And I don't know when that will stop. But as long as I stay cancer-free, then happy days. And if anybody has been inspired by what I've said, or I've helped you in any way, then do let me know in the comments. You know, we can all support each other. Because I'll tell you this as well before I go. A lot of people will say, like when I had the cancer and then they cut it out, a lot of people are like, well, you're cancer-free now, aren't you? You're all right. And to me, that's a really flippant attitude. Like when I had the cancer and then they cut it out, a lot of people are like, well, you're cancer-free now, aren't you? You're all right. And to me, that's a really flippant attitude. Will it get me in the end? And I know people will say to you, oh, you can't think like that. Well, you do. I'm sorry. This is my reality. So those people that are saying that don't know what I'm going through. You know, because I do think that somebody who's had cancer would never say that to you, because you're constantly thinking, I've got to look after myself. I'm going to prepare my child. So I've been secure in my house. So if anything does happen to me, my house goes to my son because he's vulnerable and he's got special needs. And if anything happens to me, the last thing I want is him losing his home. He needs to be secure. So I've got all that going on in my head as well, you know, and then thinking, you know, okay, if it does come back, I'll deal with it. You know, I might, you know, I'm on Emmerdale at the moment as well. I don't know if, and I don't watch soaps very often, but I know the Chaz storyline with breast cancer. I couldn't watch it last night because that where she was, see, I'm going to fill up again now, where she was on the bed and she was going through, that's exactly what it was like. They seem to do everything really quick and rush things through on Emmerdale. However, with breast cancer, they did rush me through. I mean, from February to March, I was in, and then April, the lump was gone. So last thing I'm going to do now is spray some of this on my face to hold on my makeup. If anyone's interested in what I've put on my face, I will be putting some pictures up and listing the makeup that I've used. But the point was I wanted to bring up some breast cancer awareness today. I've just swallowed a load of that. So, thank you everybody so much for joining me. If you do want to follow my blog, please give me a follow on here, because I will probably repost those, or you can scroll back to a year ago and you can watch the blogs from every day when I went through the mammograms and the radiotherapy and how I was feeling. And I was really, really truthful as well. I've not hidden anything. So there were days where I was positive and there was days where I was just in bits and crying. So please do give me a follow. And then if anyone is interested in what I do, you can just give me a shout out and I'll send you an online link to my store, because my company actually are partnered with Copperfield Breast Cancer Charity, which was just one of those things. I'd actually raised a lot of money at Christmas for breast cancer before, well, I actually had it and didn't know at the time. Anyway, I'm rattling on far too much now. I've done my bit, I've got my makeup on, and I've told you a little bit about my story in the last year, and I hope you all have a fabulous weekend and let's stay positive. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone. Bye.